Hi people, Rockfarmer here, and today we're doing a little R&D research. I want to find out how much thrust each fan does in the game. So I built this little device here. This is my thrust tester. I put a bunch of gyros in the bottom, and I've basically calibrated it so, as you can see, it's not taking off right now. But if I remove one bracket here, you see that's enough for it to actually start lifting. So this thing is accurate down to one bracket. So the first block we're going to test is the GSO Turbine Propeller. And because it's not completely centered, this is an even number, this takes up 4 spaces. That's why I have all the gyros in the bottom basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to stack some weight on it, and I'm going to try to keep it as centered as possible. And we will see how we do. Oops. I already tested this, so I know for a fact that here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks. It's not going to be able to take off with 10. And we try 9. It almost takes off. And when we try 8, it should take off now. Yeah, there you go. So in my mind, the capacity of the turbine propeller is 8 GSO blocks. And also this takes into account the weight of the propeller itself, because we want to know how much excess lift do we get from each fan. Alright, so the next thing we're going to test is the Venture nose propeller. And I'm not expecting this to be spectacular, but we'll see. So I have not tested this before. I'll start with 4. I'll place them symmetrically around the propeller here. Like that. And we'll see, can we take off? Yep, that lifts easily. Let's put on 2 more. Still takes off. Okay, so now we're up to 8 GSO blocks. Still not a problem. Let's do 12. Yeah, we're getting close. So let's do 16. Still able to take off? No, we're not. Okay, let's take off 2. See, I'm trying to keep the whole thing balanced. No, we can't take off anymore. Let's take off 1 more. And this is where it looks like we're taking off. So let's see. Let's take off that one. And there we go. We're barely taking off. So, yes. So we'll say 12 blocks for the Venture propeller. Alright, next up is the Hawkeye rotor fan. And I'm just gonna... So this one is completely centered, so we can just place blocks here. And we will see. Let's get some GSO blocks ready here. There we go. 5 is not a problem. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not a problem. 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, we're at the limit now. So, 13. No. 12. No. 11. 11 definitely. Let's try 12 again. It can do 12. So I don't know why it just doesn't update. So let's try it. I want to find out actually. So if I put 13 on here and I look, It's definitely not going anywhere. So let's take off 1. We knew it took off before with 12. Is it taking off now? Oh, it is. It's actually flying right now. This is a way you can tell. Do you see how when I'm twisting the wheels right now, because they're not rotating means it doesn't consider that it has ground contact. So the capacity of the rotor fan is 3, 6, 9, and 12. I will stack them up over there and we'll see. And next up is the Hawkeye medium rotor fan. I have 10 blocks on there now. 14 blocks, I mean. Easy peasy. Let's see. Just trying to keep the weight distributed. Easy. I would expect this propeller here to have a lot more lift because it shouldn't weigh very much by itself, and it has a pretty substantial surface that it's that looks about it, doesn't it? See, I still have ground contact when the wheels are spinning. Take off 1, and then we definitely have lift off. All right, so I'll stack that up. And finally, we have the large rotor fan from Hawkeye. And currently I have 25 plus, I have 35 blocks on here now. And it can just barely lift off. So 36 is working. 37 is almost working. Looks like this is the limit if we take this one off. There you go. Take another one off. It easily lifts. And put that back on. Let's get it back on the ground. I think the lifting momentum actually helps lifting the tech. But see, if we have 36, it's sinking down. So it can't lift this, but it can lift those. Alright, I just realized my mistake. Obviously, it was 45, not 35 blocks on that. The second thing we want to know is how much space each propeller takes up. And on these 3 over here, it's pretty self-explanatory. But just to double check here, on the medium Hawkeye rotor, it takes up a 7x7, so 49 for the Hawkeye rotor, and for the medium rotor. And on the large rotor, it's, let's see, 6, 7 plus another 6. That's 13 times 13, which, if I can do math correctly, which I couldn't before, I guess 169? Probably. I'll double check, and I'll put a list on the screen right now with the total lift and the space to lift ratio. So as you can see, if we're thinking about the sort of the efficiency in terms of how much space the propeller takes up, the GSO fan is actually the best. At the moment, it provides a lot of lift for the minimal amount of space it takes. So if you're building a tech that has a very confined space, this is probably your best choice at the moment. On the other hand, I mean, the big propeller is the one that provides the most lift. So if you don't have space constraints, meaning that you're placing them on top of your tech, this is probably the best way to go. And one last thing I want to find out is just if we use Hawkeye blocks instead, because Hawkeye blocks are like the new rage. Everybody is building what Hawkeye blocks. So let's just see how heavy a Hawkeye block is compared to a GSO block, shall we? Alright, so I now have 30 Hawkeye blocks on this thing here. And it takes off. If I put 31 on it, it will take off, but it will fall back down again. So the limit is 30, and I guess that means that the ratio here is that for every 2 Hawkeye blocks you place, you could place a GSO, 3 GSO blocks instead. So that's actually not that much. Let's just do the same with the Venture, shall we? So I now have 15 times 4 plus 4, so 64 Venture blocks on this tech here. And it's a little too much. You know, my expectation is that it would actually be exactly 60. And that works. So let's put 61. Let's put 62 on here. Oop. I ended up the wrong place. Let's see. It will take off and it will fall back down. So we are definitely there. Let's see, does it actually take off now? Yes, it does. Okay, so let me put that up next to it so we have a visual representation. All right, so the Venture Tech blocks are half the weight of the Hawkeye blocks, and we have the GSO blocks nicely tucked in between. I guess we also should do the Geocorp since we're just here. All right, so it flies pretty easily with 5 of these. If we put 6 on, it can't really take off anymore. This is all wonky now, balance-wise. Let's put it there. I'm just testing the GSO blocks, or the Geocorp blocks one more time. I figured if I put 2 propellers on it, I would get a slightly more accurate reading. And it turns out that you have 8, 9, 10, 11 here, Hawkeye blocks, and it will lift that. And then if I put another one on top here, try to put it so that the weight is somewhat centered, like that, it can no longer lift, but it's really close. So I think my guess is correct that GSO actually weighs the same as a Geocorp. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video here. If you have an idea for anything you want me to test, let me know in the comments and I'll try to see if I can set up something proper. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.